Well, I look at my forecast for the next 10 days, and I see temperatures that in some cases go 10 degrees above seasonal average daily fucking highs. 10 degrees! Highs of 6 degrees Celsius right here in Wells, 4,000 feet above sea level, 53 degrees north. That's not supposed to happen! Let's go!
This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Wow. I'll watch the video later.
Feel the heat. I need more nights. I need water.
Ain't dry mopping this.
Alright, you want to drive Joey nuts? Here we go. Let's talk about driving Joey nuts. Here's your 14-day temperature trends for the next 14 days. You look at that. So 4 to 6. This has changed since yesterday. Wells, BC at 3,935 feet above sea level and 53 degrees north. Could see daily high temperatures of 10 degrees above seasonal averages in the next 10 days. If this forecast holds, there's good reason to be somewhat alarmed. The snowpack will take a hard hit all over, considering that Wells will be the coldest place so often as it is at these elevations. Right. So, the thing is, Wells, what's great about this place is it gives us, living here, we get a good idea of what's happening in the mountains. It's kind of like our little mountain research station, if you're me, It's like up here, you could live in Quesnel and you wouldn't really get a good idea of what goes on here in the mountains. But when all it takes is a couple places to live high in the mountains, and then we got to. Anyways, so you want to drive Joey crazy. Here we go. Mother Gaia is changing herself as well as humanity is getting graded up to our true selves of higher consciousness. Remember, we live in a matrix. In 2024, people will start to see the light through the darkness. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? So I ask, is this sarcasm? No, it's truth. People will say anything to avoid talking about the fucking truth, that carbon emissions are causing climate change. Okay? You have to look at you go look at Venus not far away and tell yourself, what does runaway greenhouse effect do to a planet? It destroys the goddamn place so that nothing can ever live there again. We are at a major risk of doing irreparable harm to our planet, and people just cannot admit it. They'll do anything they can to not admit it. It drives me crazy! Okay, no, it's the truth. That's why there's so many earthquakes. Actually, there's not a higher amount of earthquakes. That's not happening. Floods in the deserts and bigger quartz crystals rising up through the asphalt. What the hell are you talking about? Many nations rising against you spelled their wrong governments. Nothing can stop what's happening. It's all for the better of humanity. No, this is your opinion. I study science where opinion serves no value. Your knowledge isn't knowledge, it's opinion. It's one that's constructed without evidence. The HART project is administered by the University of Alaska where they study northern lights and things. It's not a government weather control facility. This is pure fantasy. Climate change is measurable. We know what carbon does to the atmosphere. We look at Venus and know what runaway greenhouse effect can do to a living planet. Stop grasping at bullshit. There is real knowledge that exists, and people spend a lifetime of hard work to achieve it all. I'm not trying to pick on you, because this is just common. It's not you. This is what people say. They'll say new agey things like that. Or they'll say the planet has just always been changing. Well, yeah, that's a truism. But, it's always been changing because something forced it to change, like an asteroid hitting it or major climatic, or polar shifting. None of those things are happening, okay? None of those things there's only one thing that's causing the change, and we have proof of it, and it's human beings. It's snow laughing matter. Why you should never eat snow. What the hell? Weather Network. So look at this. High at 6 degrees, but this is the end of January. And we don't have one day right now in our forecast. Maybe this will change, maybe, We don't have one day left in our forecast with a daily high that's in the 0 category. So a daily high, an average daily high, Wells should be about -6 near the end of January. That's right. So speaking of climate change, Australia is no stranger to Australia's all-time extreme temperatures. Tied the national heat record in Australia on January 22nd. 50.7 degrees. 50.7 degrees! We know what carbon emissions is doing. And, and here's thanks Rachel for some really hard-hitting environmental, why you should never eat snow. And that's because it's endangered. There's hardly any of it left anywhere. Don't eat it because we're fucking running out of it. This pale dot, that's us. That's Earth. every climate denier ever lives right here. And then also Alberta and maybe a little bit of Ontario. Mostly right here and Russia. Anyways, look at here's a big storm out in Atlantic Canada, and we got some storms over here going on in Pacific. So there's some storms out there. There's some unsettled weather, but how much is coming to BC? We'll talk about that. And the cold has retreated back to northern places. Minus 30 up near Churchill today at this exact time, which is time is it, Joseph? It is 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday, 22nd. Happy birthday, Kenny. It's my dog's 5th month birthday. I just realized looking at the 22nd right now. Feedback wanted. Okay. How's that? And we look at our avalanche conditions, and it's pretty low. Low. If you're down there, recent storm and wind temperatures have formed a surface crust at all elevation. Crust. I love the word crust. And it's look at there's. I mean, hey, considerably dangerous. Sure, could go higher. We got some snow coming through. So, wow. Okay, so there's some avalanche danger out there, but no, we are really in a situation where snow is being eaten by children. I mean, melted by warm weather, and the snowpack is going to take a hit all over British Columbia this week. Let's not kid ourselves. And it's bad news. It's bad news for our summer future. It's really this is climate change is happening. It's happening right before your eyes. You got to stop denying it. A series of smaller low-pressure systems with weak fronts or troughs and low pressures will move onshore today and Tuesday. The weak nature of these features will keep precipitation totals in check. The highest snowfall accumulations over the next several days is the southern Selkirks and northern Purcells. So if you live down there in southeastern British Columbia, secondary area near southern Caribou and northern Columbia ranges late this afternoon tonight, we'll see heavier snowfall accumulation. I expect to see some snow here in Wells. Not a lot. Low pressure system will rise on the coast on Wednesday will bring more organized precipitation, but there remains uncertainty as the total amount and track of the surface low as it enters Canadian waters amongst the computer model guidance. And just have a look at this sort of unsettled situation through the week. We see that we do have some storms coming through, but nothing crazy meaty. And we have that southerly flow that's coming with it. You can almost see in that graphic how things are coming from south. There you go. You can see, look at those isobars. They're showing you the way it's coming. Periods of snow on the coast on Tuesday and maybe southern British Columbia, but in eastern British Columbia as well. Then you see that next low we were just looking at. So that's Tuesday coming in, and go day 3, 4. Have a look. That storm starts to hit the BC coast. Right, interior periods of snow on Wednesday. Risk of freezing drizzle. We've seen a lot of freezing rain Wednesday morning over ranges south of Revelstoke. There could be snow. We're uncertain how much. Drier Thursday with isolated flurries. Freezing levels may reach as high as 1,500 meters during the day on Wednesday, but will fall back to the valley bottom each night. Let me just look at our temperatures right now. Already southern British Columbia, we're seeing lots of above 0 temperatures, around Kelowna, hanging around 0, Grand Forks, Penticton. Of course, the lower mainland, you expect that, but even up to Barrier, 100 Mile House. We're only at -3 in Williams Lake, -4 in Queen. Got the warm air sitting up higher this morning, and the cooler air is sunken down lower in the valley. So you see Prince George at -7 and Quesnel at -4, -6 down there. So we're looking at a little bit warm mountains than it is down there in the valley bottoms. You go up to the Yukon, you start to find those 20s. Maybe high level Alberta, sure, that's good. Fort Nelson, British Columbia, sure. And then you get into much of Alberta, though, heading in the mid-teens today. And when you look at Manitoba, we got that sort of blast hitting Churchill at 30 below. Hope you enjoyed that, Joe. He's so stoked because his Lions are going to a Super Bowl or something or other like that. Right on. And then you see eastern Canada, nothing screaming temperature-wise, sitting just below 0 for the most part. And we're looking at warmer weather the next few days. Let's see, periods of rain accumulation. Texas going to get hammered hard. Same with New Orleans up Mississippi Valley. So there's some big time story going on there. Of course, along the west coast, up and down, even into California, even some of that reaching further inland. all the way to Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona could be getting 41 millimeters of rain the next 3 days. Okay, so floods in the desert. The next 5 days, where's that rain coming? Get out all the way up into almost towards Atlantic Canada. And if we look at the next 10 days, we'll see those storms probably reach out. These models say that they will go offshore, and then we look at the west coast. Looks pretty good for lots of rain. We look at new snow in the next 10 days. Who gets it mostly? Through the Rocky Mountains and Western Cordillera of the United States, Eastern Canada, sure. In Atlantic Canada, maybe some, yes, for sure. Quebec, looking at some, and then not much, except for once you're at Ontario, not much in southern Canada till you get to British Columbia, where we could see some pretty big totals still, and most of that snow we're looking at the next 10 days. Again, not hitting these interior places, right? And this is really telling because we got projections for snow, 3.8 centimeters. We know it's going to be warm, so whatever snow's on the ground is probably going to be gone. And we look at the drought conditions still. We've been watching this for quite a while. We look at drought conditions right now, and we go to 100 centimeter depth and see that Williams Lake, Caribou, we have very dry soil still as we go down to a meter, right? And it's extreme in the north. So they're not getting the snow. They're not getting the rain. It's extreme. Things are going to be melting. How much cold are we going to get in February? I mean, this is hard to fathom. Apparently some. So Monday afternoon, yes, snow will be. You can see how it's coming up from a southerly bend. We got that southerly flow. Maybe a little bit in the Yukon happening. Yeah, definitely some snow forecast up there for today along the coast. Some of that in southern BC will be falling as rain even tonight. And then some of these places you could see, we've had freezing rain stories off and on this week. And there's not much here, but some of these little exclamation marks, those are freezing rain. The exclamation marks of freezing rain. So although it's not much in terms of like the general area it's covering, if that what we do see is that there's no consistent place that it's happening. It's like, well, maybe through the edges here and there, which means that you can't really rely on this forecast for this freezing rain forecast because it could probably happen anywhere, essentially, where the conditions are correct. So Tuesday, again, we're looking a little snowier at least for the interior, but when I say little, I mean very little. It's snowier more than rain, but little snow. Tuesday evening, Caribou could see some of that freezing rain up there. That's a little more solid. There's it's not just kind of like a random pop-up of exclamation marks here or there. There was a good stretch where, well, it's pretty good chance on Tuesday night we're going to see some freezing rain in the Caribou. Pretty good chance the way it looks right now. This is just the ECMWF model. GFS is going to disagree. Here's that storm off the shore, and it's bringing us that offshore flow, and it's sending all that moisture all the way along into riding up the coast from California on up. Could see some thunderstorms off the California coast. And next big storm is out there, and it's a better organized one, and it might take some time for it to get here. So we can see this severe thunderstorm event kicking off now. Texas into Louisiana and places up the Mississippi Valley. We're just looking at where those rainfall totals are going to go, and we see that there's a warm air coming up through the Gulf of Alaska, or Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to feed some severe thunderstorms. We can expect to see tornado outbreaks again down there. There's been quite a few. Idaho, you get some snow on Thursday. So we got an unsettled pattern, yes. Precipitate. We don't have a lot of clear, sunny days. Sure, the forecast is going to be some mix of weather coming through, but that's to be expected. The warmer weather is slamming us with moisture from the coast. And then we'll just kind of look at this week, so get an idea for this week. But yeah, we're not talking about very warm temperatures, right? So if we this moment and skip over, and this is at 1 o'clock in the morning, and skip over, we're going to see up in Fort St. John, it'll be above zero at 5 a.m. still on Friday, right? We're coming into this warmer weather weekend. And look at that, here we go. Prince George, could you see Up the Fraser River Valley, 3 degrees. Yeah, really positive. This is the beginning of this sort of snap, right? And you see all the Arctic air is now finally getting squished more and more back up to the core, up to the top of the poles. But we still have right at the North Pole, minus 13 and very close to the North Pole, 3 degrees. So that could some of this air moving still into February. That's what I'm still not sure if we get a cold snap in February yet, because when I start seeing this kind of thing going on really prevalently, I see how that polar vortex could possibly break down, how it could get moved out of there. So coming in the weekend, we're getting warm temperatures right above zero across the board, right? So in some of these rainy bouts, is that atmospheric river? Well, it's from Hawaii on up. I don't know if that's going to meet the definition or not, but that's certainly the behavior. So we do have precipitation coming to BC. Yeah, but again, Peace not getting any, and Caribou at times getting a skip. And then rain maybe overnight Friday. So maybe freezing rain, Burns Lake area, Bulkley Valley. I mean, these aren't. This isn't a forecast where I'm like having a lot of certainty. It's like, well, it's really going to be, how I would best describe as variable. It's like there's going to be some precipitation. It's going to be warmer at times. It's going to, you're going to get a little bit of everything in this forecast. But the bigger picture is, some of this stuff can start really consolidating and turning into some strong storms like we've seen not that long ago. We could have some game changers, right? And maybe that will happen. 979, 977, those are pretty strong lows. Oh, I got the hiccups. I can't make shows with hiccups. Ah! Coffee gave me hiccups. There's a black cat here. Time to interrupt my show. Some neighborhood cat that just gonna come in and be my friend. He's cool. I like his color. He's just all black. He's probably a mouse killer. Yay! What a nice kitty. Just comes up to say hi. Yes. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Whose kitty are you? Come here. Come here. Whose kitty are you? Yes. You are handsome. Oh, I know. You're a little disturbed by the dog, eh? But he won't hurt you. I love kitties. There you go. Want to see him? Want to see him? That's a kitty. That's a kitty. Want to see the kitty? Okay, let's get back to talking about the weather, Kenny. You never know what's going to happen here in Wells. This time it wasn't a wild animal. Sometimes there's a moose out the window. You just never know what's going to happen here in Wells, BC. Okay, stop. Settle. We got the drift. I pretty much said everything I got to say. Last thing we're going to do, though, is look at temperatures. And so coming into Sunday, well, some of these yellows here. Prince George, 5 degrees. 5 degrees. Yeah, at 6 a.m. Oh, that's not the middle of the afternoon. That's at 6 a.m. Well, what about at 1400 at 1600 at 4 p.m. Places in Alberta, 7 degrees. Prince, we could see in that Quesnel, Prince George area, sevens. It's January, sevens. It's January, 7s, 8 over there in Alberta. Okay, this can't be right. Something must be wrong with overnight. It's like 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning. 7 degrees down there. What? The only place where it's actually freezing is in the highest mountains. Whoa! Snowpack gonna take a hit. How far do we have to go up to find? Oh my God, even warmer as you go higher. 3,000 feet, 8 degrees. What about 5,000 feet? 6 degrees. How far? Well, we have to go 6,400 feet. 5 degrees. Oh, well, let's go a little higher. Oh, now we're starting to find it. Okay, so not till you go to 3,000 meters do you start finding temperatures above or below zero. And you see some of that wind there as well, right? So crazy. That's what we're looking at coming into next week. Monday afternoon, 10 degrees maybe. If these numbers hold, we're all in trouble. Okay? Anyways, sorry if I picked on you or things you think or believe. You have to understand the future of our goddamn planet is at stake here. The ability for Earth to sustain life. I can no longer accept lunatic suggestions about what's happening. I can no longer accept people refusing to believe. What I can accept, though, is support and help. Thanks very much to my supporters and Patreons.
I would just like the world to know how thankful I am to my patrons and supporters. Thank you, everybody!
And final word. Getting back to what I was just saying. I can no longer accept climate change denial. I can't accept it any further. I can't allow you to use anything that I'm doing, my space, to further your agenda of total nonsense. I'm sorry. We need facts, we need data, and we need correct interpretation of that facts and data. And that's how we get scientific answers. All right, everybody, that's me for this week. Please hit subscribe, like, share, tell a friend. Keep coming back again and again. I'm Joey Olney, the Caribbean Weather Dude up here in Wells, British Columbia. Bye for now.